Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Mind Your Fucking Business with your host, Jeffrey Krensman.
Thank you, Dougie Sticks. Coming to you, as always, from the beautiful studios of Undefeated Media here in Bergen County, New Jersey. This is the Mind Your Fucking Business podcast. Brought to you, you're welcome, sir. Brought to you by our good friends at the Bamboozle Project, as well as DraftKings. We thank them both for their sponsorship. This is episode 128. That would be Ciento Veintiocho on the Spanish dial. So we appreciate you tuning in for those utilizing the Spanish features that we do have. You can listen to the show at any time at mypbshow@gmail.com, or you can DM us on our Instagram page, which if you're following the video feed, you can see that across the screen, which is at Mind Your Pucking Business on Instagram. As I mentioned, we thank the Bamboozle Project for their sponsorship. You can use promo code MYPB, that is MYPB, for very popular letters around here. And you can use that promo code to save yourself a whopping 25% off your total purchase. And breaking news on the Bamboozle Project. Breaking news. We should have had, maybe we'll have like music queued up. But it is getting a little bit colder. Debuting officially now on the Bamboozle Project website is a MYPB hoodie sweatshirt that is awesome. So I believe it is, and you can see it if you're following the video feed. It is, I believe it is $30-something, if I'm not mistaken. You use that promo code I just told you, MYPB, and that $37 gets slashed by 25%. So that is a rock star deal if you are looking for one. Dude. So we thank the Bamboozle Project as always. You can listen to the show, as I just mentioned. You can watch the video feed on YouTube, and you can follow along audio. You can stream us whenever you would like, and you can do that on either Spotify or iTunes.
The real question is, are you going to get the black one or the gray one?
You know, I asked our executive producer, B-Rock, in the corner there before what he liked better. I am a gray guy. Like, I always like gray. For me, if I'm going to get one.
Coming from the guy wearing the black hoodie today.
No, it's green. Green. You need to get
dark, that's a very dark green.
Yeah, okay. So I would probably, like, if I had to get one or the other, because it's between black and gray. And I did see that they're all different sizes are available.
Every size.
So, yeah, you can, whether you're a small build, a large build, a medium build, whatever it is, you can get one. I would probably get the gray, but I do know that from someone that was texting me because they wanted to get an order in, they were all black. They were like pro black. So it'll be interesting, I guess, to see. Like, we'll put up a poll actually on our Instagram story today. Yeah. Do you prefer the black or the gray? What would you order?
Ooh.
Well, we'll get in.
Each one has their place.
Yeah,
I could see you rocking black as well.
I can rock them both.
Yeah, I could see you rocking both.
I have plenty of black attire that I wear.
I feel like the black one would be a good one to go to a game in.
Okay. Or you could wear the Ranger. Speaking of going to places, tonight, I am going to a season ticket holder event with players tonight. Wow. Yes. I will be in the city tonight. It'll be, I don't know if I should say the location because I always get worried. Like, if you say it, then more people show up. So I'm not. But I guess you need season tickets. So yeah, I will be tonight. I will not be wearing the MYPB hoodie that I don't have yet because it just came out. I will be wearing a Ranger jersey. So hockey season gets started.
Yeah.
Last week. And, you know, the one thing you want to do, and I think we're all guilty of this, and it's probably not the right thing to do. I'm going to do it anyway, is that you want to make like evaluations. You want to come to conclusions, but you really only have 3 games to do it in. A regular season is 82 games. So knowing that you've done 3 and you have 79 to go, you can't really make a ton of assumptions, but we're going to try to for a couple minutes here. We're going to try and see like what we saw in the first week that we liked. What did we see in the first week that we didn't like? It's kind of like fantasy football. Like, I always think after week 1 in fantasy football, you say to yourself, wow, I have a quarterback. My quarterback's amazing. He just put up 40 points, but then the rest of the season, he'll put up 10 a week. Like, you can't make assumptions off the first week. We're going to do it anyway, just because that's what we're here to do. So first week, the Rangers start Thursday night in Buffalo. I cannot remember at all a better opening night for the Rangers in general. They were dominant in all phases of the game in Buffalo. They won the game. I believe it was 5-1. Lafreniere scored to get the goal scoring going early. And they were rolling. And there was not, I would say, a lot of bad that you would take out or criticism you would take out of the game Thursday night up in Buffalo. You want to say that maybe there were parts of the second period they seemed to get their foot off the gas and they weren't, attacking as much and getting shots on goal. I can live with that, but the counter argument to that would be, and I think it would be fair, is to say while the Rangers in the second period in Buffalo didn't get a lot of shots on goal, they also didn't let up a lot of chances either, and you had a 2-goal lead. So I thought in Buffalo, a lot of good things. You like to see Kreider get 2 goals, both on the special teams, one on the power play, one shorthanded. You like to see Lafreniere, Panarin, you like to see all that stuff. So really good job. The Rangers then go to Buffalo. They go to Columbus on Saturday night. And I'm going to have a different take on this game than a lot of people, because a lot of people came out after this game and said, Thursday night in Buffalo was just not the way it was, a minority, and it wasn't going to be what it's always going to be. And the Rangers lose to a bad Columbus team 5-3. If you watched this game on Saturday night, and I did, we were supposed to have, my daughter was supposed to have a soccer game literally at the same time as the Ranger game. So I was not going to see it.
Mhm.
Thankfully, Mother Nature did what she did, canceled the game so I could watch it. If you watched that game Saturday night,
Mhm.
I don't think you could come across and say that they played that bad, because they didn't. They had 2 goals disallowed in the first period. By the way, one thing I want to say about this in general, the Rangers had 2 goals they scored that got called back in the first period. Columbus had a goal in the first period that got called back. The referees in the first period were 0 for 3. Their calls on the ice for all 3 of these goals was that they were good goals. Replay showed that, in fact, 0 of them were good goals. So the referees had a terrible first period 0 for 3. This is why you have this form of instant replay in hockey, right? Goals are at a premium in this league, right? Every goal matters. Every goal counts. You can't have goals. And I'll say for the Rangers, right? Because the Rangers had 2 called back because of offsides. Granted, they were close calls. The referees got them right. I'm not going to ever sit here and argue that, Filipino scored and it got called back because Alexis Lafreniere put the play offsides. If Alexis Lafreniere brought the puck in and he was offsides, guess what? Shouldn't count.
So you want justice, even
No,
if
I
it
don't
goes against you.
I don't want justice. I'm glad it got it right. I'm just saying, look, the referees, and I actually referee on the side. Refereeing hockey is the hardest sport to referee because everything's going super fast, and especially in the NHL, those people have it impossible, right? So you're going to miss calls. But my point is that is why instant replay is here, and it should be here. The review system that they have is right. So I didn't think they played bad in Columbus. They were the better team in the first period. The third period, they were definitely the better team. For some reason, they didn't look good in the second, and I'm starting to notice a little trend because that was their downfall period last night too versus Arizona. But you're going to lose. Look, they played well Saturday night. I didn't think they played bad. This Boone Jenner guy had a hat trick. We made him look like the next Wayne Gretzky. But other than that, you know what? You take it, you move on from it. And then last night, a home opener, I thought they came out in the first period and they played a home opener first 10 minutes where you're kind of buzzing off the crowd and all that stuff. And then the second period, they were not great again. They kind of sat back. It seems like for some reason they're getting limited chances in the second period. I don't know what it was. And in the third period, they held on and got a win. Kreider with a goal last night, and Trocheck tipped one in. And then, the Rangers had a 2-1 lead. I don't, with you, I don't know if you're ever watching or not. Sometimes you are, sometimes you're not. When Monday Night Football's on, I know you're not always. The Coyotes were awarded a penalty shot towards the end, and thankfully Igor stopped it.
Of course he did.
So of course, right. Igor, I saw a stat last night, which is incredible. In his lifetime, penalty shots against, he said after last night, that was the 4th penalty shot he's faced. He's allowed him no goals. I mean, it's remarkable.
Nice.
Knock on wood pretty hard there. That is some remarkable good stuff. So you give them credit. Look, they're 2-1. I think there are things you like. I think with Laviolette, you're going to look to see the system, right? And it's been pretty well documented, this 1-3-1 approach. I think it's going to work. I think it's good. I think what the Rangers have done, you saw it last night in the third period because they were kind of illustrating it for beginners, which was the team is buying into Laviolette's message, which is huge because remember, Gerard Gallant left here because there was no structure. Players didn't like the practice. We couldn't adjust to in-game adjustments. Now you're starting to see kind of the opposite, but you're also seeing the team buy into it. And last night, what you like to see, and I also hated this, by the way, is that you had a situation at the end of the game. There was like 0.5 seconds left. Why in the world we need to do a face-off with 0.5 seconds left? That shouldn't have been on the clock anyway. there's a face-off. Of course, Arizona's not going to score on it, and then there's a little scrum in the corner, and I would say it was a little scrum. Maybe it got to like a medium level. It wasn't the worst thing I ever saw. And Igor Shesterkin skates over from his crease and basically gets in the way of a Coyote. I don't remember. Maybe it was Clayton Keller that was coming and trying to get at Lindgren or someone. And you like to see that, teammates sticking up for each other. But the one thing I don't like about that, I don't need my goaltender getting in optional fights right now. Like, I don't need Igor Shesterkin getting hurt, right? You can stay in the corner and let the other guys do it. I like that you have your teammates back and stuff, but Igor, in those situations, just stand in the side and let the other people do what you got to do, because we don't need him getting hurt.
True.
The other thing, so Saturday night after the Columbus game, apparently I set off like a massive firestorm, and I didn't mean to piss people off.
Oh, yeah?
We put up a post because we've been all about, like every Ranger fan, about lines, right? Like, what the line should be. And the top line, and we don't have a problem with it, was Kreider, Zibanejad, and Kakko. That's the top line they're going with. And I put up a post Saturday night that now has like over 100 people bitching at me, pardon my French, that, the line just, they look lost. I'm not saying to blow it up. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying so far it has not worked. And it really, last night, Zibanejad and Kreider scoring that 2-on-1, they're not generating as much as you would like from your top line. Someone wrote in, and I appreciate you guys writing in, well, Kreider scored 2 goals in Buffalo. How could you say that the Kreider line's not working? Kreider scored 2 goals. One was on the power play. One was on the shorthanded. That wasn't that. It's not on that line. It was the same thing on Saturday too in Columbus. So you'd like to see that line maybe play a little better. Chemistry is going to come with time, and I do think that it will. But so far, they could certainly, showing that there's room for improvement. And I didn't mean to set off like people going crazy. Can we move the video box up on just so I can see it? Yeah, there we go. Perfect. I had a feeling that was.
So what about line number 2?
Line number 2 has been sensational.
Okay. Who's on line number 2?
Hedel, Panarin, and Lafreniere has looked great, and it's been their best line. And not as much last night, but the first 2 games, every time that line was on the ice, they were generating something. There's hope for that with that line for sure. And I still think the top line will be fine. But I didn't sit here and say, like, people got to read what we write. Like, I didn't say blow it up, the experiment's over after 2 games. I'm just saying so far, they look a little lost. And it is. Two other quick things, then we'll get to our guests. One, Blake Wheeler looks like he's 37 years old. Like, now you're starting to see, like, why.
What's so bad about that?
Well, I mean, look, so a lot of people last night were writing to us on Instagram, like, DMing us. Blake Wheeler, is he this bad? Is he this bad? He's 37, right? There's got to be a reason why on July 1st, the Rangers were able to sign him for 1 year at $800,000. And the reason why is because no other team, including the Rangers, wanted to give him a long-term deal. Yeah. So if Blake Wheeler doesn't work here, and again, right now he's on the 3rd line at $800,000, you can live with that. But he wasn't brought here to be Blake Wheeler for 10 years ago, but you can see that he's old. All right. The other thing, the other player, and if we had more time, I'd go on a rant right now. I'm not going to go on a rant.
Can we, a little mini rant?
Can we stop? And I have said this forever.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on record, and maybe this will come back. And 10 years from now, when this guy goes to the Hall of Fame, they'll play this clip because this idiot at MYPB like screamed and said he's terrible. And I've said this guy is awful for whatever.
Yeah.
Before I even say it, 2 years ago, when the Rangers, you used to hate this, Jack Eichel. Remember we used to talk about this Jack Eichel kid in Buffalo? The Rangers are going to get Jack Eichel. And people said, well, how could the Rangers give up Kravtsov and Zach Jones to get Jack Eichel? Well, right now, Kravtsov's playing in the KHL, and Zach Jones sucks. Zach Jones is not an NHL defenseman. I have said this since the first time I saw this guy play. Now, look, I am not good at evaluating talent. If I tell you I'm going to evaluate a hockey talent, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to be wrong. I'm just going to admit that. But I think the one I'm right is Zach Jones. This guy is not good. And for the Rangers fans that have said forever, well, you know what? When you're looking at deals at the deadline, they got to hold on to Zach Jones. Like, I can't give up Zach Jones. What are they holding on to Zach Jones for?
So that was what they wanted, and we didn't do it because
they didn't make that deal. Now, it was rumored, right? Because Chris Drury holds everything close to the vest. But back in the day, the rumored package was, and there were picks too.
Yeah.
So it was Kravtsov, who's now playing in Russia.
Yeah.
Zach Jones, who
cried because of playing time and went to Russia, right?
Yes. Very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, you pay attention. So Kravtsov's not even in the country right now. Yeah. Zach Jones, I couldn't trade my Dunkin' Donuts iced tea for at this point, and a couple draft picks for Jack Eichel, who just won the Cup in Vegas.
Wow.
But it's not the Jack Eichel I want to talk about. Zach Jones is not an NHL defenseman. We've got to get off this concept that Zach Jones is good. He had a turnover the other night around the boards, and that led to a goal in Columbus. I think it was the first goal, actually, in the first period. That was awful. Like, how? What is everyone seeing with Zach Jones? And thankfully, last night, they took him back out of the lineup.
All right.
This guy sucks. I just think it's funny when people sit there and they write into us, well, you got to hold on to Zach Jones. What are we holding on for?
I don't know.
What am I missing?
I don't know.
Can someone tell me what I'm missing with Zach Jones?
I don't know.
I don't understand. What am I missing?
I
All right. Last thing. Okay, so we can put up that comment. Yes, they wanted Hedl too. No. I wanted to banish Hedl too. Okay. That's fair. And this guy, Chris, is going to give me this all the time. Philip Hedl has become a lot better. But if we're going to talk about this in terms of the Jack Eichel trade, if I would have rather given up Hedl, Kravtsov, who's now in Russia, and Zach Jones, who sucks, for Jack Eichel, where do I sign? And I'll give you my iced tea in the deal. All right, so before we get to our guest, one last thing with the Rangers.
Yes.
I'm going to put a little importance. They play Thursday now versus Nashville at home. They go into the game 2-1. I'm going to put a little importance on this game. And you're going to be like, why are you putting importance on the game forward? Like, it's not a must-win game, but it's an important game, and here's why. The schedule makers, I don't remember this ever happening. The Rangers go on a 10-day road trip starting on Friday. They're gone for 10 days. They have 5 games on the West Coast. And as we've said here before, when you play out here and you go out west, sometimes you're happy with a split, right? So you can either go into your Western Canada plus Seattle and Central Canada, because I think they're in Winnipeg also. They literally are everywhere next week. They go into that either going into a 3-1 or 2-2. I think it's a big game on Thursday night, and I think you stick with Igor and you get the win. He's obviously playing well. What did we just lose here?
We're still live.
We're still live? Perfect. Okay, we just lost power.
Power in half the building.
There we go. But we're back. We're back. So I think it's a big game on Thursday for them to try and get that. Do you have the ability to bring in the guest while we're live?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, can you bring in?
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll see if we can bring in. We had some power issues here all of a sudden here in the studio. Now, let's see
hey, what's going on, boys?
How are you
doing?
I'm good. How are you?
We are good. Good to see you. It's Jim Biringer, Nightcap Recap. So we thank you for joining us, Jim. How's everything?
Everything is well, Jeff. How is everything over there besides the power going in and out?
Yeah, I don't know what just happened. We've never had that before. And you usually like to blame those kinds of things on Mother Nature, but we can hear you and see you fine.
I think it is Mother Nature. Maybe a tree fell. So half the building here is from one town, and half the building power comes from the other town. So we lost our lights and our TV, but everything else is working.
I'll tell you, all the lights, everything is still on. So we'll roll, and I can hear Jim and see Jim fine. So we're good to go. All right, Jim. So I want to not ask you a lot of Ranger questions because I feel like we do a lot of Ranger stuff. So I'm going to ask you some Devils questions to start on the season preview. They start 1-1-1. I don't really look into 3 games. There's 79 left to go. Do you think they will regress a little bit this year from the success they had last year, or do you think they will surpass where they were last year?
I think if you look at it through 3 games right now, I mean, you can't overreact, but you can see that defensively they've taken a step back. I mean, you lose players like David Severson, Ryan Graves on the back end. You're going to deal with mistakes from rookies like Luke Hughes back there. Simone Nemec is down in the AHL. I expect him to come up. And I don't think they're going to have another 115-point season. The conference itself and the division alone is better. So I don't think they're going to do that. But I think they'll be a top 3 team in the division. But they have to get off to better starts. And you could see that through 3 games. You guys talk about chemistry. I was listening to you guys talking about chemistry with the lines. Lindy Ruff has a trigger of changing things up too quickly. We see in the preseason you have a guy like Alexander Holtz play with Timo Meier and Nico Hischier for all of the preseason, and now all of a sudden you're changing it up. You see Meier's not the same player, Hischier's not the same guy. You got to let things settle. You're seeing that with what Peter Laviolette's bringing to New York. You got to settle things down. Let things develop for 10, 15 games, and after that, if it doesn't develop, okay, then throw it in a blender. But it's still early. Again, it's 3 games. The record says what the record says. They've played 4 periods of hockey that were really good. They've played 5 periods of hockey that haven't been good. You're 1-1-1. All
right. So you said you kind of alluded right into a perfect segue for my next question for you. We've talked here the past month or two that it certainly seems to me that if I were a betting man, the Metro 1, 2, 3 will be Carolina, the Devils, and the Rangers in some order. I would probably say the Rangers will be the 3rd there, Would you agree, kind of what you just said, that that's probably where this is destined to end up in the Metro with the top three?
Yes, I would agree with that 100%. Carolina's goaltending and defense is better than New Jersey's, but you can tell New Jersey's speed is a little bit better than New York, though the Rangers can match their speed. I will tell you that they can do it. But if New Jersey had gotten Connor Hellebuck or a goaltender in the offseason, you're putting them one in the division.
Again, I mean, you segue right into the next question, because the next question I have on my list in front of me was, is this really going to be for the Devils all about how their goaltending is in April and May? Is that really what this is probably going to come down to?
Goaltending and defense. Can you not have the defensive zone turnovers? I know it's a meaningless preseason game, right? Preseason games aren't meaningless, but I was live in Madison Square Garden for Devils Rangers. I saw a handful, if not more, mistakes in the Devils' own zone that allowed the Rangers to get back in the game because they can't clear the puck out of the zone. And it's come back to haunt them in the first 3 games. And it's going to come down to getting a save. So, yeah, it is as simple as getting a save for most teams, but especially New Jersey, because the pressure and expectations are on.
Okay. All right. Shifting away from there, what is a realistic, because you cover the whole league, but what is a realistic expectation for the rookie season for Connor Bedard?
Rookie season, I'd say 60 points, 60, 70 points, somewhere in there once he gets going. Hey, look, the league is so good, right? There's so many young players. Logan Cooley's in there. You got Adam Fantilli out in Columbus, Devin Levi. There's so many. Matthew Nye is officially a rookie this year in Toronto. So many good players. But I think Bedard, once he gets settled, get his legs under him, I could see him get 60 points. I've seen this kid do a lot of things. I know it's not junior. It's a different step up. But it does take some time to get your legs and your body used to the NHL. But I could see 60, 70 points.
Speaking of Cooley, that Arizona team last night who played the Rangers, they are fast. They remind me of the Devils in some ways. I mean, they're obviously not as talented at all. They also don't have an arena, which is another story. But they play a speed game. And last night you could see, like, in spurts where the speed gave the Rangers trouble again. It was like reminiscent to me going back to the spring with the Devils. All right, give me a team around the league, either Eastern or Western Conference, that you think will surprise people that no one is giving enough credit to right now.
The Nashville Predators. I will say the Nashville Predators are a team that you need to watch. They have new coach, Andrew Brunette's there. And by the way, that's a big loss for New Jersey on their bench. I think he did a lot more than people think he did. I think he was a big reason why the Devils had the success that they did last year with Lindy Ruff as the main bench boss. But he's down in Nashville. They have a lot of nice young pieces there. You bring in a Ryan O'Reilly, you bring in a Luke Shen. Barry Trotz knows the type of guys you want to win with. The Nashville Predators are a team to watch in that Western Conference.
Okay. Is there a team that is giving too much talk right now, that they're not as good and they're going to disappoint?
I mean, is it easy to throw? I mean, I know it's only 2 games, but I mean, look, the Edmonton Oilers defense and goaltending is not good. And until they can get that settled and play in their own zone, you just can't rely on 2 guys to carry you to a Stanley Cup. And I think the Oilers, still don't understand how they're a bigger cup favorite than Vegas is. But I think that's a team that's going to disappoint a lot of people this year.
Well, I know you had saw that they were my cup prediction, and you jumped on me right away, understandably, and said, you know what, until you have goaltending. I mean, goaltending does matter there. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully they can do something. A team that you think, what would be your cup prediction? Let me ask, who's coming out of the East, who's coming out of the West, and then who's going to hoist this cup?
I like to do the Bob McKenzie approach to this thing. But if I had to do it, I'm going to put Vegas back in the final. And I think Vegas is going to win this thing. Until somebody can beat this team in a series, and until somebody can show me that they have a better 3 centers and a better defense and get more timely saves, you're telling me the Vegas Golden Knights aren't the best team right now in the National. I know it's 3 games, but still, how is Carolina, Toronto, New Jersey all favored more than Vegas? They lost 1 player in Riley Smith.
Right. Well, that's the thing with Vegas, and we talked about this last week. They didn't lose a lot. Like,
no,
they're basically all back.
That's what I don't get. Like they are getting so much disrespect right now from like everybody. It's like, wait a minute, Vegas lost one guy. They won the Stanley Cup. They have Jack Eichel. They have the defense. Injuries and health will be the issue for Vegas. But if I had to say a team that come out of the East, I mean, it's not Toronto because I just don't trust them. I mean, maybe they can finally do it, but not, until they do it, I ain't picking Toronto. New Jersey's just not there yet because they don't have the goaltending to do it. Is it Carolina? Is it the easy, sexy pick to pick Carolina? They got to change their ways to do it if they're going to do it. I mean, look, like I said, I think Vegas wins the Cup anyway, so it's regardless of who comes out, but I'll just say Vegas, Carolina, because everybody picks Carolina out of the East. But I think Vegas is winning the Stanley Cup. Look, to me, the East, you look at the Eastern Conference, there's so many good teams. But again, it's how the matches fall in the playoffs, right? Boston's a goal away from going to the second round, and they just collapse. So you don't know until the springtime comes. But to me, Vegas, Carolina, it just seems, all right, it's not too bad cities to go to and come summertime, right?
No, good barbecue, and then Carolina and Raleigh, I could send you to the Pit downtown. There's a good spot, and then Vegas, I could give you 10 great places.
Right. So,
I was surprised. My surprise team that I think I'm going to be on their train a little bit that's not getting enough respect is Buffalo. Watching them the other night, they have such good young talent. They just got to get it together. They seemed a little out of sync. I mean, it was opening night. I mean, there were some passes that weren't connecting that should. Obviously, Devin Levy and net from Northeastern up in Boston, where he went to college. I know him from there. I mean, they may surprise some people too, as well as Ottawa in the East. I think Ottawa's going to be better than people think. I don't think they're going to win the Cup or come out of the East, but I don't think those games when teams play them on the schedule are going to be as easy as people think.
No layups for those two teams. But I will say with Buffalo, I am a little concerned about having two young goaltenders in between the pipes, and you're putting so much on Devin Levi to be that guy, right? Like, you need to have somebody else there, and I think that was another mistake. Like, you have a revamped defense. That defense, by the way, Noki Haru for Buffalo, you got to turn and understand your surroundings on that 2-on-1 and the backdoor play, because the dude was just wide open. I think it was a Ranger game. The 2-on-1 backdoor bang in the net. You got to know where you are on the ice. And look, Levi's going to be fine. Buffalo will be fine, but you gotta, maybe if they brought in a veteran, somebody, a Corpusalo, Talbot, somebody just to, not put all this pressure on him. They can score, but they're going to have to outscore problems. That usually doesn't lead to success or playoff success. Penguins had those problems for years after they won their first Cup. Ottawa is going to be a good team. Let's see if they can get Shane Pinto in, because he's at home on Long Island right now, and the Ottawa Senators did it to themselves, creating this cap problem because, hey, wait, we didn't sign him and then work it out. We're going to work it out and then sign. That doesn't work either. So that's their own doing. If they were able to have Detroit retain some salary with Dominic Kubalik, you could have made this work a little bit easier. Now I'm not sure they want to give up Matthew Joseph, and they definitely do not want to throw in sweeteners for some of these players that they're looking to offload. So it's going to be a waiting game in Ottawa now.
Well, we shall see. Jim, we thank you as always. That's Jim Biringer, the Nightcap Recap. Thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure, Jeff. Always a pleasure to be on your show. Be back anytime.
We will have you back. We'll have plenty of hockey to talk about with the season just talking. We'll have you soon. That is Jim Biringer. So nice. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Do we have power? We're
power's
rolling,
back.
We're back.
We have to turn the lights back.
No. I mean, it's fine. I just don't. I mean, it's some ways it's like maybe better. It's like a Halloween feel in here. Some lights are out, some are on. I don't know. All right. So the NFL season is going strong, and DraftKings Sportsbook is hooking new customers up like Kurt from New Jersey with an offer that's even stronger. Bet $5 on any game this week and score $200 instantly in bonus bets. And DraftKings is not stopping there. All customers can take advantage of a sweetener of an offer every game day this October. You can wager on the huge Sunday night showdown this weekend in Philadelphia between Jeff Adelson's Dolphins and the Philadelphia Eagles. Get in on the game day greatness. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN. That is promo code. I'll say it again, THPN. New customers can score $200 instantly in bonus bets when you bet $5 on the NFL. That's promo code THPN only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, you can call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problems with gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly.
Absolutely.
Going to football.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any debate on what we're going to lead in with from this past weekend.
Oh yeah, I think I might know.
Well, what would be your guess?
Either your picks or my picks.
No. We're not talking picks. I'm talking about just NFL in general. Like, what are we leading with?
I mean, the Jets beat
Thank you.
the Eagles.
Right, I mean,
Those
pretty
filthy, disgusting Eagles.
There's definitely, for me,
Yeah.
not a fan base in the NFL that I dislike more than the Eagles.
I think I can agree with that.
And I
They're
say
not even
that
your division.
right, because I'm more of a Jet fan. I like the Giants too, but they're not even in my conference.
Yeah.
I cannot stand that fan base that in the Super Bowl last year,
Yeah.
it wasn't that I like Kansas City because I'm impartial, right? But I was like, you know what? Who's ever playing Philly is who I'm rooting for. You ever see like those things like, I have two favorite teams, the Dallas Cowboys and who's ever playing the Philadelphia Eagles or something like that.
Mhm.
That's me with the Eagles. Like my favorite team is my team and the team that is playing the Eagles. So it was good to see now the Jets, because we said this over the summer before the Aaron Rodgers stuff went down, that their first 8 game schedule was brutal. Okay. And it is. They're 6 through, although now their 7th game versus the Giants may not be as brutal as we thought. But my point is this: now you've been able to navigate. You've lost Aaron Rodgers, who did you see, by the way? He's walking without crutches.
He was throwing a football.
There's something
out crutches.
I am not a doctor. I don't work in medicine, but that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me. I'm still not the
We
same.
still carry you in the studio. We all collectively all go out.
Half later.
Yeah. All the undefeated media employees go out and they carry you into your seat every day.
What the hell did he do?
So the Jets now, without Aaron Rodgers, except for one drive, have navigated the first 6 games to be 3-3 with a much easier schedule coming up. So if you look at it, they now play.
They should be 4-3, but
they could.
The
4-2.
Totally.
Yeah,
totally shysted them.
They could have won. So they definitely could have won the Kansas City game and the Dallas game. They were never in. But now, all right, so the Jets have 3 wins, right? If you look at this, they play the Giants. They're on a bye this week. Then, so a week from now, they play the Giants. You could assume that might be a win. That's 4 wins. The Chargers at home could be a win. I'll say no, but they could. But no. I want to do the ones. I want to count the ones.
Only blatant.
The blatant wins.
Okay.
Giants are a win. That's 4. Raiders are a win. That's 5.
Okay.
Falcons are a win. That's 6.
Okay.
Texans at home is 7. Commanders at home is 8. At the Browns or at the Patriots, I'm not going to give them either. So here's where we're left. We're at 8 wins, and I've got to get 2 wins out of these games. The Chargers at home, they're not going to win up in Buffalo. They can maybe win one of the Dolphin games. And the Browns and the Patriots, they need to find 2 wins in those games. I think they can do it. I think they can absolutely do it.
So who's in their division?
Well, they're not going to pass Miami or Buffalo. They're going to be a wild card. They're not going to win the division. That's not realistic. They're already 2 games behind the Dolphins. Their only chance to beat the Dolphins or to pass the Dolphins, their most realistic chance would be to somehow win both their games against the Dolphins, because then you gain 2 games, plus you own the tiebreaker. You almost would need that. And the Jets this year, when they play the Dolphins, I don't know if you saw this, they play them at home on, this is like Black Friday. Now the NFL is doing this game on Black Friday.
Wow.
So like that Friday after Thanksgiving, and I think it's an Amazon Prime game, if I'm not mistaken.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, this
destroyed the whole
right
corporation.
Exactly. I'm pretty sure,
world.
3:00 on Black Friday, because the NFL is under the assumption that nobody really shops online, and Black Friday is still a thing, I guess, and people go to malls.
As they should.
Okay.
As you should.
So we'll see you at Garden State Plaza that day at 2 a.m. trying to get a $5 coupon.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like they're probably done doing all that at 12:00. So now you can go tailgate and enjoy the games.
Yeah. Okay. So, but the Jets, you know what? Like, it can happen now.
Yeah.
It really can. It would be remarkable.
And imagine if the refs didn't blow that call and they were
4-2
4-2 right now.
So if they were 4-2, It would
There
even be
wasn't
even more
another
impressive.
game that they just missed by a ref call at the
No,
end?
they lost to the Patriots 15-10, but they don't deserve to win that game. The Patriots are so bad that if you lose to the Patriots, I don't want to hear. You should be winning those games by 30, and I'm not trying to be mean to B-Rock over there.
Fine. But you should have won that game, so you should be 5-1.
But that doesn't. You don't count that. You should beat a team, but you
should-
play
that's-
terrible. That doesn't. I'm not saying you should be.
You're
5-1.
way better than that.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying.
you're better than
you
that.
should be 5-1 right now.
If you
In
want
a
to think that,
perfect world,
yes,
you should be 5-1 right now.
but the world isn't perfect, and that's not how it goes. I don't know, but give them credit. The Giants, I thought, and we'll get to the picks in a minute, and the one that I had wrong. So I actually had the Jets and Giants in the picks last week. I had the Jets right, the Giants wrong. I had the Bills -14. I thought the Bills were going to blow them out. Like, I don't know with the Giants what happened, and I don't want to sit there and tell you either that I watched the entire game because we watched parts of it. But I don't know if the Bills just couldn't get their offense going in the first half. Yeah,
good game.
But the Giants, yes, go ahead.
Some. So Justin Pugh just got signed by the Giants to fill in. They had the offensive line's having some problems, some difficulties, got some injuries. So they signed on this guy, Justin Pugh, right? Now, you know how in the beginning of the game, they have like the little player heads going like, Doug Friedman, Mount St. Mary's, Jeffrey Gruntsman, Boston College or Boston University. Which one was it?
University, second one.
Boston University. Yeah. All right. Right. So they have the guy, now this Justin Pugh guy, they just signed him. He goes, Justin Pugh from the couch, because they signed him literally from the couch, right? He was sitting on his couch like a month ago, right? The stats came out this morning. People were talking about it. He has the lowest percentage of pass rushing. So like he's the lowest percentage of pressure to the quarterback than anyone else in the entire season for the Giants.
Wow.
They just got this guy off the couch.
So are you saying they should look at you off the couch?
I mean, I would be more of a quarterback than the lineman, but yeah, that's fine with me.
Speaking of quarterbacks, we were talking here before in the studios about Caleb Williams, who's supposed to be this unanimous #1 pick coming out to USC, right? B-Rock, is that right, USC? And if the Giants could be in this, consortium of teams right now with 0-1 wins with the Carolinas of the world, the Giants, the Broncos, the Bears, and the Cardinals all trying to get him. If you were a Giant fan, right, and I knew that Daniel Jones was not the answer, because he's not. I've said this forever, right? He's not. I don't care about the offensive line. He's not. And you had a chance to sit here and say, look, I can put you through some pain in the next 2 months, and you may win one more game. You're going to be annoyed. It's going to be freezing cold on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, whatever it is, when they go play at Philadelphia, and you'll lose by 90, and it'll make you so sick that you won't want to eat Christmas dinner with your family. But listen, if you let me put you through that in April, when Roger Goodell steps up to the podium and says, with the first pick, the New York Giants select quarterback Caleb Williams, will you go through the pain of the next 2.5 months? Isn't the answer yes?
Is he that good?
I don't know. That I don't know. B-Rock is telling me yes.
B-Rock is saying he's that good.
B-Rock wants him on the Patriots. The Patriots are in that one-loss team too. That would be the worst thing that could happen to the world.
Oh, yeah.
Is if the teams what the Jets should do in week 18, if the Patriots have a chance to lose that game and get the first pick, the Jets should forfeit. And that way the Patriots get a win. And they really should. There should be no circumstance where the Patriots are allowed to get this guy.
Oh, yeah.
You had Mac Jones.
The Patriots need to fail a little bit. They need like 10 years of terrible.
10 years?
At least.
I'm a Ranger fan. I've had 30 years, and I don't have 6 cups or 6 Super Bowl trophies. So we'll see.
What makes this guy so good?
I don't know.
Is he can he run? Is he like, a Lamar? Is he like a Michael Vick? Is he like,
the way,
got an arm?
The way our scouting department at Undefeated Media in the corner explained it before was he's like an Aaron Rodgers to me, that he can get out of the pocket and be accurate.
Yeah, but we said that about Zach Wilson.
But Zach Wilson went to Utah, which is not a football school.
Okay.
And Caleb Williams went to USC.
So did Sam Darnold. Yeah.
Fair. Heisman winner.
He won the Heisman already?
Did. Yeah, as a junior. Oh, see, now, you know what? B-Rock just won the argument, because by saying that, you've changed his complexion.
No idea.
The tone of it, yeah, but
all right. So, how well has Heisman players done in the last 10 years? Give me another Heisman winner that's done anything in the NFL.
What
lately.
would you rather have if you were a Giant fan? And look, somehow you have this system where you go for free. I don't know how you do it. But let's say you were a season ticket like some other shows here have.
Yes.
Beautiful season tickets.
Yes.
Unfortunately, on the wrong side of the stadium. But you have season tickets. Would you rather be spending your money where you could be going to see Daniel Jones or Caleb Williams?
See, like I'm not like Caleb Williams. I still think Daniel Jones is better. I'm watching highlights right now of last week against Notre Dame, which they lost. I just saw a pick. I saw.
Oh, wait a second. Caleb Williams is a sophomore, so he won the Heisman as a freshman?
I think this is the year they won it.
Okay. Oh, you're right. You're right. He was a sophomore last year. Yes. Look,
He was a junior this year.
so he had. Can you go back to that screen? He had. Go back to the. It was right there. So he won the Heisman Trophy last year. He threw for over 4,000 yards, 37 touchdowns, and rushed for 10 touchdowns. That's 47 touchdowns.
Okay.
You tell me that's not better than Daniel Jones? What is going on?
Okay.
This is like Zach Jones.
I mean, all right, go back to that list. Okay, Bryce Young was the one who won it before him. I don't know what his stats
He's
were.
but
He's
I
not
believe he's
doing
in
anything.
Carolina.
He's not doing anything that's special in Carolina.
Well, Joe Burrow is.
Didn't what's his name?
Okay.
What's his name come in and like tear it up?
So, but if you look at this list,
Who
look at
backs
this
up Bryce Young?
right now
Yeah.
in Carolina.
What was it? What's his name? The redhead guy. Who backs up Bryce Young? Andy Dalton.
Okay.
Yeah, Bryce Young got hurt for a series or whatever for a game, and Andy Dalton came in and tore the place apart.
Okay.
And it was way better than Bryce Young.
So you know what? Then you can stick with that going forward.
Joe Burrow is doing good. He's on that list. Kyler Murray is doing terrible. All right, Lamar.
Okay.
Derrick Henry. All right, there's
Well,
a couple.
we'll
There's
see.
a couple. There's
Look,
a couple. All right,
Time will
there's a
tell.
couple good players.
Yeah, you think Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson? Would those be players you would like on your team?
I'm just saying. Yeah, but I don't think of when I think of Derrick Henry, I don't remember that he won the Heisman. You know what I mean? Like they
True.
don't
True.
really like say that in the NFL. They don't promote that much in the NFL.
Hey.
Why don't they do that?
I don't know. All right, so our week 6 picks last week. We ended the week 2 and 3. We were close. Came down to last night in a point. We had the 49ers -5 at the Browns wrong. We had the Dolphins giving 13.5 at home versus the Panthers, which they won by a ton, but they were down 14-0. It looked like that bet was dead. And then they came back and won. We had the Jets +6.5, of course, won. They won the game outright versus those dirty Eagles. And then we had the Bills -14 at home. They just didn't cover. And the Chargers +2 last night. If we had +3, we would have drawn and gotten you your money back. So we had a losing week. But we were close.
Yeah.
Close
Just
does
warming
not
up. Just warming
close
up.
does not count it.
Just warming up.
Yes, warming up, which, by the way, the heat in the studio today is awful.
Well,
I don't know what's going on.
Turn it up.
Yeah, we're going to have to turn it up. All right, so here are our week 7 picks for Mind Your Puckin' Business. I like the Ravens -3 at home versus the Lions. The Lions have been playing well, inconsistent, but there's something with the Ravens that just makes me think they're due to have a really good game. And for some reason, I think it's coming this week, although you're shaking your head over me at the corner.
The Lions are going to kick their ass. All right.
I like, okay, Kambuka boy. I like the Colts +2 versus the Browns at home. They don't have Anthony Richardson, but the Colts still have some talent there. They haven't played that bad, and the Browns are so inconsistent. And it seems like when they won last week, that's usually when they have a big win, they come down the following week. That would be in Indianapolis. I like the Chiefs -5.5 at home versus the Chargers. I think the Chiefs find a way to get it going, and I believe they can find a way to shut down Justin Herbert and that offense, who last night versus Dallas did not look very good at all. I like the Broncos +1 versus the Packers. The Broncos stink, but however, at some point, Sean Payton's got to get it together. It has to happen, and the Packers have not been that good. You're getting a point at home. I'm taking the Broncos +1. I'm taking the Sunday night. This is a great game, the Eagles and Dolphins Sunday night. Probably one of the better games of the year so far. The Dolphins, I'm going to go on the notion that they went up to Buffalo and did not play well. They've been a little inconsistent, and the Eagles are going to be mad after what happened up here at MetLife. I'm taking the Eagles -2 on Sunday night. So to recap, I'm taking the Ravens -3 at home versus the Lions, the Colts +2 at the Browns, the Chiefs -5.5 at the home versus the Chargers, the Broncos at Mile High at home +1 versus the Packers, and the Eagles Sunday Night Football -2 versus the Dolphins.
All right. I think the Lions are a hot team this year. I think they're going to be doing well. You think Baltimore's going to beat them?
I do. The one local game, which is not in my pick this week because the Giants are on bye. I mean, the Jets are on bye. The Giants are home. They are, before I see the spread, let's try and guess it. They're home versus the Commanders. I'm going to say the Giants are +5. Let's see. The Giants are, no, +2.
Oof.
That wasn't even close.
Might as well just take him from them.
Wow, what would you do here?
So like it's tough because didn't Washington almost beat the Eagles?
Yeah. But Washington won in Atlanta. They played well last week. But the Giants, at some point, they have to. But the Giants played okay in Buffalo.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, they won that game.
But that's a tough. You know what? That is a spread. The more I think about it, they got the spread right because you sit there and you're struggling, right?
Yeah.
It's not a game that there's a reason why that wasn't in my 5 because it didn't pop out at me. But that's not a game that
That's a pick'em game.
Yeah, that pops out at you. That's a tough one.
I'm going Giants money line. Get a couple extra bucks.
plus one. But on the money line, it's not that big. It's +105 because the spread is close. I mean, it's not a bad bet. You could do that. But I almost look at it like this, right? If I could bet
points and get
if you could take the money line at +105, I could say to you, hold on, I'll give you 2 points. Meaning if you lose by 1, you win.
Yeah.
And if you lose by 2, you get your money back. And that's -112. It's not much difference.
Yeah.
I would you're better off taking the
True.
-112 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know.
I hit $69 with the Jets money line.
That's why we were surprised you showed up today. We weren't sure if you were
Big
coming
money.
in with your big winnings.
And I was one pass interference call away from getting $160.
You're a company man. You show up to Undefeated Media. Even
Absolutely.
when you win big bets, you
Even
still
if I hit the Powerball, I'd be here.
You would.
Yeah.
You would have it any. I don't know about that, but
I would.
All right. I like to hear
Maybe
that.
not the first week,
Right.
but I'd come back with my private jet after my
Landing in
little
the-
vacation. I had to
landing
take
in
a
the
little
parking lot.
vacation. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
More power to you.
Hey.
That is a wrap for us today. We thank our sponsors, the Bamboozle Project. Remember, use promo code MYPB and you can check out your sweatshirt, your new sweatshirts that went up there today.
Use promo code THPN for DraftKings.
Oh, it was DraftKings I said? Did I say Bamboozle Project? What did I say?
Well, DraftKings is on the screen right now. I thought you said
DraftKings on the screen. No, okay,
I thought you said DraftKings.
We'll do DraftKings. It's on the screen. THPN for the promo code for DraftKings and Bamboozle Project. Save yourself 25% with MYPB. And you can go on there and get some new stuff. There'll be some new stuff coming as well, but the sweatshirts are pretty fire. I will say that as well. You can see them if you're watching on the video feed. We thank them. We thank you for your questions as always. And the Rangers home a Thursday night, like I said, versus Nashville. And hopefully they can get a win before they head out west for 10 days and disappear into a different time zone.
Yeah.
Lucky them. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.